You ever have one of those perfect Sundays you swear nothing could ruin? Yeah, I thought I had one too. Until a woman named Lorraine Mayfield, self-appointed queen of the neighborhood, marched up to my fence, wagging her phone at me like it was some holy relic and barked, "You have 5 seconds to vacate this yard or I'm calling HOA enforcement." I just leaned back in my old lawn chair, squeezed the last drops of lemonade from my glass, and asked real calm, "Lorraine, you want to talk to the federal agent in the car first, or after you make that call?" She blinked once, twice. Then the door of the black SUV parked behind my garage swung open, and all the blood drained from her face so fast I thought she'd faint right there on my freshly mowed grass. Let me back up. My name's Jake Porter, and for most of my adult life, I've done contract work for a few three-letter agencies. Nothing glamorous, just a lot of secure communications consulting that means half my life is confidential briefings and the other half is me trying to grill burgers in peace. My house sits on a plot my dad bought back in '85, long before the Fairmeadow Lakeside HOA was even a glimmer in some busybody's eye. My little backyard with its big oak tree, hand-built shed, and my dad's old swing bench is mine, fully deeded, taxes paid, fence maintained by yours truly. But see, that simple truth never sat well with Lorraine Mayfield. Everyone calls her Lorraine, but she carries the spirit of 1,000 Karens. And the day she decided I was the problem was the day I knew peace was about to pack its bags. That Sunday started like any other good one. Birds singing, me half asleep with an old paperback in one hand and a sweating glass of lemonade balanced on my knee. I barely noticed her at first. She stood at the property line, arms folded, big sunglasses, hiding eyes I swear were scanning my soul for a violation she could slap me with. "Excuse me, Mr. Porter." Her voice cut the quiet like a rusty saw. "This yard is not for your use. This is regulated community space under HOA jurisdiction, and you are not an approved member." I just about spit my drink. "Lorraine, this is my backyard." I waved my hand at the oak tree, the old grill, the garden gnome I named Steve just to irritate her HOA color palette rules. "See that shed? Built it myself. See that swing? Hung when my dad passed. All on my lot." She clicked her tongue and pulled out a laminated binder. I kid you not, labeled Fairmeadow Lakeside Governance and Enforcement. She flipped to a highlighted page and stabbed at it with a manicured finger. "The presence of non-compliant structures and unapproved gatherings violates community tranquility. You've had suspicious vehicles here, men in suits. You're obviously squatting or using this property for illegal security operations." I had to laugh. "Yeah, I do have men in suits show up sometimes. My security detail rotates every few weeks per my contract. Not because I'm some big-shot VIP. It's just protocol." But you try explaining that to Lorraine Mayfield and her clipboard army. While we stood there mid-standoff, here comes Gary, the HOA's self-declared operations enforcer, rumbling up in a golf cart like a mall cop on steroids. Shirtless, wraparound shades, a megaphone bigger than his personality strapped to the cart's dash. He clicks it on, his voice echoing down the block. "Sir, you are trespassing on HOA-monitored land. Vacate immediately or be cited." I honestly thought I was on a prank show. I looked around for hidden cameras, even gave a thumbs up to Mrs. Williams across the street, who peeked through her curtains like she was watching daytime soap opera live and unscripted. I sighed, pulled out my phone, and dialed Rivera. "Agent Paul Rivera, calmest guy I know, stone-cold professional." "Yeah, Rivera, might want to swing around back. Lorraine's out here playing junior sheriff." He didn't even ask questions. "Understood." Click. Lorraine, seeing me on the phone, decided that was her cue to dial 911, or maybe the HOA hotline, who knows, and then started shrieking for Gary to document the trespasser. Not 3 minutes later, the soft growl of a government-grade SUV rolled up beside my fence. 2 suits stepped out, sunglasses, earpieces, the whole 9 yards. Rivera nodded at me, then turned that deadpan stare on Lorraine. "Ma'am, you need to step back from this property immediately." Lorraine's face did a whole performance. Smugness to shock to insulted disbelief. She pointed at Rivera like he was some magician's rabbit. "This is fake. You people are actors. I saw the scam on Facebook." Gary, bless his heart, backed that golf cart up so fast he almost tipped it. Meanwhile, Rivera just flipped his badge, steady as a rock. Ma'am, this property is federally registered for secure consulting operations. You are trespassing and obstructing federal monitoring. Lorraine tried to swat his badge away, like she could dismiss national jurisdiction with a flick of her hand. This is a free neighborhood. I'm calling Channel 5. I'm calling the mayor. You're all getting sued for impersonation. Rivera tapped his earpiece. HQ. Civilian refusing to comply. Request perimeter dock team. Sure enough, second SUV. Homeland Security logo clear as daylight. Gary's golf cart vanished around the corner like it owed the IRS money. Lorraine just froze, phone to her ear, mouth wide open. She ran off screaming about an emergency HOA meeting to vote me off my own land. I watched her stomp down the block, binder flapping, and just shook my head. Next day, swear to you, she pitched a white tent on her front lawn labeled Community Truth Hub. Printed flyers accusing me of deep state infiltration, big arrows pointing to my satellite dish, claiming it's a mind control hub. She even had a hand-drawn map with my garden hose circled like it was some covert water weapon. Rivera looked at the mess and muttered, "Should we charge admission?" But got better. She called the local news. Poor rookie reporter shows up with a cameraman, half expecting a dog bites mailman story. Lorraine marches him right up to my fence, ranting about black SUVs and invisible signals. Rivera steps out, checks press credentials, then calmly explains trespassing on a federally restricted site carries a nice, fat fine and possible detainment. The reporter packed up so fast Lorraine barely finished yelling fake news. She kept pushing. Day after 6 a.m., I see on my porch cam, Lorraine, bathrobe, flip-flops, phone in hand, creeping along my fence, narrating live. They think they can stop me, but freedom finds a way. I didn't have to lift a finger. The silent alarm tripped. SUV number 3 rolled up. 2 officers walked her back to her porch in cuffs. The HOA board called an emergency vote that night. And for once they did something useful. They stripped her of every made-up title she gave herself. 2 weeks later, as if karma hadn't had enough fun, the IRS rolled up. Turns out Lorraine had been dipping HOA funds for security enhancements, which suspiciously looked like a new hot tub and landscaping for her side yard. Neighbors gathered in their driveways, pretending to water plants while watching her sign official papers with IRS agents on her porch. She moved out last month. Her house sold cheap to a sweet retired couple named the Parkers, who invited the whole block for chili the first weekend they moved in. No golf cart patrols, no mind control claims, just good folks, good food, and not a single clipboard in sight. Sometimes I catch myself standing under that oak, sipping my lemonade, remembering how one nosy neighbor turned a quiet backyard into a circus for a few months. But you know what? I never left my yard. Not once. If you ever wonder whether it's worth standing your ground, whether it's a yard, a principle, or just your right to mind your own business, I say pour yourself a cold drink, plant your feet, and outlast the noise. And if the noise comes wearing a pastel tracksuit and waving a binder, well, just make sure you've got good neighbors, clear property lines, and a couple of black SUVs on speed dial. Thanks for sticking with my story. Now, I'm curious. What would you have done if Lorraine came for your yard? Tell me in the comments. I want to hear your best Karen encounters. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, especially if you believe good fences and a little federal backup make the best neighbors.